Hello students, I am starting with ADOT solutions. Myself Santoshi and I'll be taking you chemistry classes. So as you know that board exams are coming very close. So we are going to see about the important questions which occur in the board exam. So we'll be starting with the first chapter in inter second year, that is the solid state. So the weightage of this chapter is 4 marks. Okay, we'll be seeing the most frequently asked questions here. The most frequently asked question we are having is the Bragg's equation. So this Bragg's equation was discovered by the scientist named Bragg, W.H. Bragg and W.L. Bragg. The father and son duo, they discovered this Bragg's equation to study about the solids, the crystal of the solids. Okay, and this question, it carries 4 marks and it is most frequently asked question we are having. So as you know that the X-rays can travel from any body. Okay, so because of that, if someone is hurt or they got fracture, so this can be done by the X-rays only, because they can penetrate to the through the solid. Okay, so on this concept only they have given us. So here when we are taking a solid, so as already we have studied that in the solid we know that the particles are arranged in a regular manner. Okay, so in a solid the particles are arranged in a disciplined and regular manner. You can see here in this way these are arranged in a regular manner here, and these are the atoms. Now when we are making the X-rays to fall upon this, okay, so here in this structure you can see that we have denoted it with the points here. Okay, so these are the lattice points we are having. So when the X-rays are made to fall on this lattice point, so this ray we call it as a incident ray. Okay, so this ray we call it as a incident ray. When this is falling upon a lattice point here, it gets reflected. Okay, so it is getting reflected. So this ray we are calling it as a reflected ray. It is a reflected ray we are having, and this process we call it as a diffraction. Here the diffraction is taking place here. Okay, so now here this layer, the first one what we can observe the lattice point, let us consider this to be as a layer 1. Okay, let us consider it to be as a layer 1, and the next line or the next row, let us consider it to be as a layer 2. Okay, and if we are having one more, that we can consider it to be as layer 3, 4 and so on. For our equation, let us consider only 2 layers here. Okay, so now as I told you that when the X-rays are made to fall over a crystal, that is over a first layer, it is getting reflected. Okay, so it is getting with the same. So whatever the radiation it is falling, with the same wavelength it is reflected here, and this point it is denoted by the Z. The point where the X-ray is made to fall and which has been reflected, that point it is been given as the Z, and the angle is called as the theta, and angle is taken as the theta. Now the same X-ray is made to fall on the layer 2. Now when the X-ray is made to fall on a layer 2 with the same wavelength, so here we can see it is falling on at the point B. Okay, here also this is the incident ray and this is the reflected ray we are having. Okay. One thing here we have to remember that, so whenever the waves are falling over any of the crystal, there can be two forms. Okay. One we call it as a constructive form, another one we call it as a destructive form of interference we are having. So here we'll be having the constructive form. So how means, now suppose if the wave, the crust and trough, if they are equal, okay, then this we call it as a constructive. So here you can see this is the crust and trough, these are same we are having. So this one we call it as a constructive interference. And if they are not same, okay, if they are not same, then this we call it as a destructive. This is destructive and this one we are having constructive. Okay, or sometimes even we call this one as the in phase, and this is called as the out phase. Okay, so here in this diagram we are going to see the in phase we are seeing. Okay, so here, okay, so in this diagram we are going to see about the constructive interference. With the same wavelength, these are made to fall over the crystal. Okay, and now, so with the same wavelength it has been reflected here. So up to the point A here, and from point C we can see that both the waves are in parallel with each other. Both the waves are in parallel with each other. After that, you can see that from point A to B and B to C, it is the extra distance traveled by the wave. Okay, so in the second layer we can see that A to B and B to C is the extra distance traveled by the wave we are having, and the distance between these two layers, it is indicated by the D. Okay, so it is the distance between these two layers is indicated by the symbol D, and the angle between them, it is taken as the theta. Okay, so now let us solve this one. So here you can see that the extra distance traveled by the second X-ray, we indicated it as A, B and B, C. Okay, so the extra distance is nothing but it is given as AB plus BC we are having. And the path of difference in first and second X-rays, it is given as AB plus BC. Okay, so you can see that both are same. The path difference and the extra distance traveled by them, it is taken as the AB plus BC we are having. Okay, so now as we know that the two waves are in phase, that is the constructive waves are there. Okay, the path difference is equal to an integral multiple of wavelength of X-ray, which is given as AB plus BC is equals to n lambda. Lambda is nothing but wavelength of the X-rays we are having, and n is the order of diffraction, which is taken as 1, 2, 3 and so on we are having, and lambda is a wavelength of X-rays. Okay, now let us take the triangle ABZ. Okay, so here we can see we have taken the triangle A, B and Z. You can see here we have taken from this. Okay, so A, B and Z. This is a triangle we have taken. Okay, so here it is, we are getting a perpendicular one, and this is the theta we are got. Okay, so this theta is nothing but, let us take it as sine theta. Okay, so as we know that sine theta is equals to opposite by hypotenuse. Opposite by hypotenuse we are having. Okay, the same thing here we are taking. Okay, so here sin theta equals to opposite by hypotenuse. Opposite is nothing but AB we are having. So let us take here. Okay, so this is we are having theta, A, B and Z. So here you can see opposite is AB by DBZ we are having. So this is the D we are having. Okay, so this is how we have got the AB by BZ equals to AB by D. So AB is nothing but, now replace this one. Okay, so now let us interchange. So you can take here, so D we are sending here, then it becomes AB equals to D sin theta, which we have taken it as a equation 2. Similarly, as both the triangles are same, here you can see that this BCZ, okay, so this is also the same triangle as we are having ABZ triangle. So similar one we are having. So as of A and B is there, AB is equals to BC we are having. So therefore the similar one we are getting here. So since AB equals to BC, therefore BC becomes equals to D sin theta. BC becomes equals to D sin theta, which we have taken it as equation 3. So the first equation what we are having? The first equation we are having AB plus BC equals to n lambda. So this is we are having the equation 1. So let us substitute the equation 2 and 3 in the equation 1. Then we are getting it as, so AB is nothing but D sin theta. BC is nothing but, again we have got D sin theta, which is equals to n lambda here. Okay, so when we are adding both this, we are getting 2D sin theta equals to n lambda, and this equation only we call it as a Bragg's equation. This only we call it as a Bragg's equation. So this is how we have derived the Bragg's equation, which is very important question in your board exam, which carries 4 marks. Okay, now let us see the other questions which are asked in your board exam. Okay, but the most frequently asked question is Bragg's equation only. Remaining questions it is asked as 2 plus 2 marks will be getting. Okay, so in that the next question we are having, calculate the number of particles present in a face center cubic crystal structure we are having. Okay, so generally in a unit cell we are having 8 corners. Okay, here you can observe this is a unit cell, face centered unit cell we are having. So which is having the 8 corners we are having, and at each face we have 1 particle. Okay, at each face we are having 1 particle. Okay, so the contribution at the corners is 1 by 8 contribution, and the contribution of the face is 1 by 2. Okay, so how 1 by 2? Now suppose if you have a window between 2 rooms, okay, that window belongs to both the rooms, or it belongs to only one room? It belongs to both the rooms. It means half for one room and half for the other room. So therefore the contribution of the particles which are present at the face, it is half we can say, and the contribution of the corner one. Okay, now suppose if you have taken a big building, okay, and suppose they have placed a hole there. So above 4 are there, below 4 are there. So the hole is present between the 8 rooms we can say. Okay, so therefore the contribution of one particle which is present at the corner, it is 1 by 8 contribution. Okay, so here we have written it, the number of atoms present at corners per unit cell. So how many are there? 8 corner atoms are there, and each corner atom contribution it is 1/8 atom per unit cell. So now if you're cancelling 8 and 8, how much you got? 1. Okay, that is the number of atoms present at corner per unit cell. It is 1 atom we have got. Okay. Next, the number of atoms present at faces per unit cell. How many faces we have? 6 faces. That is up, down, both the sides and opposite sides. So totally how many faces we have got? 6 faces we have got. Okay. So that's what we have written here. 6 atoms at the face. Okay. 6 atoms at the face, and the contribution of each atom at the face, it is taken as 1/2 atom per unit cell. Okay. Now this is 2 ones and this is 2 threes. So how much we have got here? We have got 3 atoms. Okay. And this is 1 atom we have got. So the total number of atoms in a FCC, we have to add both this. Okay, the total number of atoms in a FCC arrangement is 1 plus 3 equals to 4. Okay, so the total atoms we are having 4 atoms in a FCC. Okay, so this question, it carries 2 marks. Okay, now coming to the next question, we are having, what is tetrahedral void? What is tetrahedral void? So this question also carries 2 marks. Okay. Now void is nothing but it is the empty space present between the spheres. Okay. The empty space present between the spheres, we call it as a void. Tetrahedral voids means the void which is surrounded by 4 spheres. Okay, we call it as a tetrahedral void. Why we are calling it as a tetrahedral void means, now let us see the diagram here. Okay, so these are the 3 spheres we are having, and this is the 4th sphere we are having. So here you can see that a small hole is there. This only we call it as a tetrahedral hole. This is known as a tetrahedral hole. Now when we are placing this sphere over this one, and when we are connecting the center of these spheres, we are getting a tetrahedron. When we are connecting the center of these spheres, we get the tetrahedron shape. Therefore, these voids are known as the tetrahedral voids. So here you can see we have placed the 4th sphere over this one. So this is the center, that is the empty space or the unoccupied space we can call. So this only we call it as a tetrahedral hole, and because it gives us the shape of a tetrahedron, we call it as a tetrahedral void. Okay, so this question, it carries 2 marks. Now coming to the next question, we are having, what is octahedral void? Okay, so void is nothing but again the same empty space or unoccupied space, we call it as a void. Here what we can observe that now the 3 spheres are arranged in this way. Okay, and above also 3 spheres are placed one over the other. Okay, so when we are joining them, when we are joining the centers of these spheres, it is forming a octahedron shape. Because of that, these are known as the octahedral voids. Okay, here you can observe that this is the blue spheres, the first layer of spheres we are having, and this is the second layer. So in between we are getting the shape of a octahedron. So therefore these are known as the octahedral void. We are having a very simple definition for this octahedral void, that is the void surrounded by 6 spheres in a lattice is known as a octahedral void. Hope you people have understood. Very simple definition we are having, and this question carries only 2 marks. Okay. Now coming to the next question, is about write a short note on Schottky defect. Okay, write a short note on Schottky defect we are having. So this question is asked for 2 marks, and also along with that, if they are asking us the Frenkel defect, then this question it carries 4 marks. So if they are asking 2 at a time, it carries 4 marks, and if they are asking 1 at a time, then it carries 2 marks, and these two are also very, very important questions we are having. Okay, now let us understand about this Schottky defect. So this Schottky defect, it occurs in ionic solids. Okay, so defect is nothing but, generally when we see a perfect crystal means all the atoms are arranged in a regular pattern in a disciplined manner. Coming to the next question, we are having about write a short note on Schottky defect. Okay, so this question carries 2 marks. So Schottky defect, it is a defect which is produced in ionic solids. Okay, so generally whenever we are saying a perfect crystal means the particles are arranged in a disciplined manner in a regular pattern. So that we call it as a perfect crystal. But if there is some of the particles missing from the crystal, then that we call it as a defect here. Okay, so such a defects only we are going to see now. So this in ionic solids, this is a defect caused due to the missing of cations and anions from their place. Okay, so to maintain the electrical neutrality, if a cation is missing, then an anion also should be missing, then only it can maintain the electrical neutrality. Because it misses the cations and anions together, this here the density of the crystal decreases. So here we can observe it through a diagram here. So here let us take a cation, anion, these are arranged in a perfect regular pattern. But here you can see that here one of the cation is missing. So there should be a plus here, but it is missing here. And also here we can see that a anion is missing, that is a B minus is missing. So the missing of cation and a anion from a crystal, we call it as a Schottky defect. Okay, and because a cation and an anion are missing, it maintains the electrical neutrality, and there is a decrease in the density of the crystal, we can say. And this defect, it can be seen in those ionic solids in which the size of the cation and anion are almost similar. Okay, so here this in a very short form you can write in your examination as equal number of cations and anions are missing from the normal crystal sites. Okay, the next here you can write these are observed when cations and anions have similar size. Okay, and also here you can see that we have written density decreases, and it is found in solids which are having high coordination number. If you are writing this much, you will score all the full marks. Now coming to the next question is about a write a short note on Frenkel defect, and this question also carries 2 marks. As I told you earlier that sometimes these two are asked separately for 2 marks each, and sometime in combination if they are asking both the Frenkel and Schottky defect, then it carries 4 marks. Okay, and this type of defect also we find in the ionic solids only. But here in this, what is happening, one of the ion is missing from its site and it is occupying the interstitial site. Okay, so here in this diagram we can find that here you can see that these are arranged one cation, anion. So here you can see that the cation, it is missing from its site and it has occupied the interstitial site, the space between the ions. We call it as a interstitial space or interstitial side. So this is occupied. So it has moved from its position to the interstitial side. So because of that, this Frenkel defect is also known as the dislocation defect, because it is changing its location from its place to some other place, we can say. So therefore it is also known as the dislocation defect. Okay, and here the ions are missing from their place, not from the crystal. Okay, so therefore the density doesn't change in the Frenkel defect. Okay, the density is not changing here. Okay, and also this can be seen by those ions in which there is a difference in the size of the ions. One ion is small and one ion is large. In those cases only we can find this Frenkel defect. And this is given by the ionic solids which are having low coordination number. So this you can write it in a short points like: cations are displaced from normal site and occupy interstitial site, and there is no change in density, and it is observed in cations and anions which differ in size. Okay, and it is found in ionic solids having low coordination number. Okay, so these are the important questions which come in your examination. If you go through this, and these are very simple and easy to write and understand it. Okay, hope all of you have understood these questions. All the best for your exams, and thank you.